Everybody clap your hand.
That casual.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Ah.
Okay, before we get started, it sounds like pee. Why would you do that?
Do what?
That. Okay,
Sorry.
what is your most embarrassing story?
Sure. I've had quite a few. I remember.
I mean, it's us.
Fair. I remember a braid falling off my head during worship, like on the stage. I've had my dress blow at the wind, exposing my underwear, but nothing tops my grade 9 experience. Where
It's always grade 9. Shh.
that year needs to be studied, dog, because
You must study.
So what had happened was we are gathered, and there's like a group of friends in us, right? And you were there. Also, there's that one where you actually exposed me in front of my crush and said, Tembi's armpit smell like... We ain't gotta go there. But you were young, so I forgive you.
Thanks.
Anyway,
You had to teach me because I didn't know.
someone had to do it. So to your husband, you are welcome. Anyways, same crush was there at the gathering.
Ha, that guy.
Same guy.
Okay, I just don't know who it is.
Okay. But you'll know as I tell the story. So
Okay, I know.
we're there and we're playing, right? And it was in the times where kids actually used to touch grass. So we're
That's
playing
not
with
an
it.
embarrassing story.
For me, it is. So we're playing
Hi.
soccer.
That's boring.
We're playing. Don't invalidate me.
It's too late.
We're playing soccer. And mind you, your girl is athletic. So in terms of the girls that were playing, I was top tier. Like I was there. And he was like a really good soccer player. So he's like the best guy there. And so we're playing, right? And then while we are playing in the jarid of someone, the garden, there's a swimming pool there. And it's covered in like a net, right? And it's not like the flat sheet net. It's the one that has like
It's a net.
yeah, it's a literal net. Your girl trips over the swimming pool net because spatial awareness, 0. I go flying into the swimming pool, dog, fully clothed. And I land on my hand, right? I land funny. So it's like ha ha ha, we're all laughing. It's fine. My cousin is like laughing the loudest also. And then I like drag my body out of the swimming pool. I'm like, ha ha, ha ha, ha, ha. And I see my hand, now my hand is bent. Like it's not looking the way it's supposed to. So long story short, I essentially broke my arm in front of my crush. And that for me was embarrassing because...
I'm not impressed with you. I'm really not.
Sweetie, I lost aura points that day.
It's like those people, you know, our friend who was like, you're the big chop. My
Big chop.
hair was, you know when they trim your hair, your split ends when you have an afro. She's like, yo, my hair's so small now.
Her hair is like stunning for context. But for me...
It doesn't even look like mine, like when it's at its best.
Sweetie, that was... Okay, side note, that for me was peak embarrassment because like it really mattered how...
I'm not impressed with you. Like,
Oh, I thought you like heard your baby cry. So that it wasn't embarrassing for you, but for me it was. So I don't care. What was your embarrassing
you will
story?
care.
And it better be good after you judge me
It
for
is
mine.
going to be good. I think that's why I'm not impressed with you because like I'm really putting myself out there.
Oh, okay. Maybe if yours inspires me, then I'll think of something else that's extra embarrassing.
Sure.
But I was in a cast for 3 months.
Oh my gosh. What a loser. You looked so cool. Ugh, boring. I'm not impressed, guys. I'm really not impressed. Anyways. I'm glad that I can tell the story now because before I could not. It was just a traumatic experience for me. And guess what? It was grade 9. The year that needs to be studied.
Always.
So it was during NS. And
Natural science.
And we were sitting at the back. I was sitting at the back. So like we were in the science lab, right? And so now we're sitting on these stools, like it's not even going there. I wish it was. So it's like these high stools. And I needed to go to the bathroom, right? And teachers always have this weird thing of, no, you can't go to the bathroom during my lesson. Oh, wow. Like, what's that about? So I hold my pee, right? I hold my pee until my pee is like, we are not holdable anymore. My bladder was retiring. It said, I can't do this with you anymore. I'm not playing games with you, Sherry. Either we go to the bathroom or I'll make wherever you are the bathroom. So now I'm at that stage where I want to go to the bathroom, but I can't stand because the chair is holding me and my bladder together. Ne? And it's just me and this guy at the back. And mind you, everybody else is in the front. Like, I'm at the last row at the back. Hi man, I'm holding my pee. I'm fighting every day. I'm fighting, bruh. It got to a point where I couldn't hold it in anymore. So what happened is I'm literally trembling. And this guy who's sitting next to me, he goes, he looks in, because like I'm literally shaking because I'm fighting with everything inside of me to keep my pee inside. And then we lock eyes. This guy's like looking at me with such concern. With this girl, what's going on with her? And then like I look at him like with these eyes of like, it's about to happen, man. It's about to happen. And he's still just like super duper confused. And then my bladder gave in. And then I peed in the classroom. And the thing is, those chairs, they were high. It's a stool. So it's not like those chairs that catch your pee. No, this one made it rain. So now what happens is, all you can hear in the back of the classroom is this pitter patter of rain. Like, now everyone is turning around to see what's going on. The guy who was sitting next to me was saying, hey, he's like, cease. And then everyone now turns around and I'm peeing myself in front of, as a teenager, I'm peeing myself in the classroom. And all of it just came gushing out like yonk. Not even, no, yonk. It's all just pouring out. And then I just collapse into my arms, put my hands on the table and my face I bury my face in my arms because I am so embarrassed. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. And then people start coming, they are surrounding me, and ma'am is like, leave her alone. So the lesson continues while I'm sitting in my pee, surrounded like it's a ritual. Like, why don't this girl drink water? And then when the bell rings, it was the last period. And then after that, people now come to my desk, and my friends, oh, bless them. My friends get my sports bag because I had a change of clothes. Not a change of panty. That was the one I had, man. They get my change of clothes. They cover me. They protect me from the people that came to watch the show, and they kosher them. Like, no, get away from here. And then, but the nice thing was that the class was saying, hey guys, what happens in class stays in class. I don't believe all of them did keep it to themselves, but I didn't get people from other classes coming to me asking me, Ustamel, So I would like to think that they did keep it to themselves. But that was very traumatic for me. I cried. And the thing is, I can't even blame the teachers for saying, hey, don't go to the bathroom. I just had this really bad habit of holding pee and not going to the toilet, which, by the way, led me to going to the hospital for a bladder infection because I hold my pee. That's an embarrassing story.
The truth. Oh.
But you know what, friends? The silence is real in this room. Like gutulile, like
Thing is, I think I'm hearing this story for the first time in my life also.
when it's always the first time in your life. Okay, but that's not what we're here to talk about. That's not what we're here to talk about. Like that took long. But what are we here to talk about?
We're here to talk about racism.
Yay!
RACISTMOUSE.
Not him. He's literally black and white, bro. Antandi Mumiki.
Shout out. That
This is why you sit here.
Rainbow Nation right there.
Every
So
time someone mentions
racism,
rainbow.
boys and girls. Do you want to give us an introduction? Like, how did we get here? Like, why? Oh, before that,
Yeah.
have you ever wanted to be another race?
Oh, of course. Yo, I remember the dark days. Oh, I remember wanting to be white
So bad.
so bad,
So bad.
especially because of the hair. Like, remember we would put Polonex on our heads,
Not my proudest moment.
and there's even a picture of us actually.
I remember that picture.
And I felt so cool. I felt like I had, like, if you imagine it, you have it. You know, being a child and using your imagination.
Even
Because-
when your mom braided our hair,
Yeah.
oh, that was peak, dog.
No, like untouchable.
I was in my white girl bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that polo neck, oh, shame. It didn't matter that there were sleeves hanging on the sides. No, man. It was my hair.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be white
So bad.
to a point where there was a bit of shame in being black. That's crazy. Like at that age, like who taught me?
To be fair and to extend grace to you, also to answer the same question, same. Like white people ate. Like when God created them, He really did eat. Like white people are
Niba,
beautiful.
you guys are
And their
beautiful.
legs. Oh, my word. Anyways, what I was trying to say is I think that we lived in an era where white people were prominent on TV and beauty was perceived or shown to us rather in that certain way.
Yeah.
So whenever there was L'Oreal adverts or makeup
Tresemme.
adverts, it was the white girlies and there was a lack of
Yeah.
representation. Like we didn't see black girls on the screen as much as we do now.
This is very true.
And so subconsciously, I think your little brain, no offense, was thinking, oh, that's the epitome of beauty.
Yeah.
And what I'm grateful for with what your dad did for us was I remember because we used to play with dolls together.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to play with white dolls, like the stereotypical Barbie doll with the blonde
Barbie.
hair and the blue eyes.
Yeah.
But what my dad did, he said, not in my household. Like he didn't buy us white Barbies. He bought us dolls that look like us.
Yeah.
And that did
Remember
something.
Poncho? So that doll was black. And that doll was charcoal black. It was dark chocolate.
Leave my doll out of there.
She was scary.
But that did something for us that I don't think we understood at the time. Yes, we definitely dreaded that we're getting black dolls boring.
Oh, yeah.
But it did something so foundational and fundamental for our identity as black women that I think that we stand in pride in who we are today because of those black dolls.
Yeah.
I almost let an N-word slip out, dog.
Because of those black.
Also, like, is it okay to say the
No,
N-word?
it's not.
Why?
Because it's not our context.
So if I was in America, can I say it?
Yeah.
So can
It
I
just-
say the
it
K
feels-
word?
Sure. You can. But
Okay.
why are you saying it?
I don't know, man. Okay, but let's focus. Racism.
Yeah.
What happened?
How did we get here?
Yes.
So it's not funny, Ed. I'm fighting. I'm so wet. Oh my gosh. Yuck. Bro, you literally poured it all on me. Sick, bro. I'm Monzi. Oh, I'm cold. I'm so cold. The thing is, it's mixed with your saliva. Ugh, yuck. I know we used to share a toilet, but I don't want to do this.
I'm so sorry. Even Nick, you got shot in the crossfire. Oh.
But not as much as, oh.
Not the couch being damp. I am so sorry you had to see that for a second time in one season.
And then one day she's gonna say, my most embarrassing story was when I was sitting a podcast for HMO. And
my brother healed.
Then I spat water out on my sister.
You need to heal. I apologize for that slip of the mouth.
Slip of the mouth.
Wow.
How do we gather ourselves for this episode?
Also, please, Suki, you know better than to make me laugh while I have water in my mouth, though.
Tembi, I'm not watching you 24/7, okay?
It's giving I'm not my brother's
keeper.
Then one brother ended up being dead and his
Tembi.
blood was crying out in the soil.
Tembi.
Racism.
Okay. Ooh, okay. So in my tertiary studies, I did a course on just tertiary. The background of racism, but not in depth. It was a way to get to somewhere, right? So what I read was very interesting. It was that, first of all, Tinala here in South Africa, we was all about the Besila. Traditional things. We had the San people and the Khoi, and then the Dutch people. I think it was the Dutch and the British, or the Mara Bakona. They were like, "Oh, these poor souls. They need saving. You know what we're gonna do?
Come on,
we're gonna put clothes on them. We're gonna make them civilized. Okay." And then we're going to put an education system. And they came and they put structures in place because what they saw was not orderly.
It was not civilized.
It was not civilized. And so what they did essentially was colonize. They colonized us. And they brought what they would do in their spaces into the space of Africa.
Enforced it.
Yeah. And I think they started there by the Cape side of life. And then once they were done, they kind of just left. But then when they left, some people still stayed behind. And so the superiority started there, is that we brought something here. And because we are the ones that introduced it, therefore you guys are less than. You know, in our eyes, you will always be those people that we clothed. Yeah.
They came with civilization. So they've been civilized more than we have.
What even is civilization? Because who's to say that in the context of the Khoi and the, those people, the indigenous people, what if that was their civilization?
Would we say the better term would then be modernization or westernization?
Yeah, a westernization, definitely a westernization.
Yeah.
And so in the context of South Africa with the Dutch people, they were also Bantu Dutch. Also, I stand to be corrected if I'm getting my things wrong. So what had happened is that the Afrikaner people now were birthed out of that. So there was a different dialect of Dutch. And so that became Afrikaans. So we had the Afrikaners and we also had the Dutch. Then I think the Dutch left Sasala Nama Afrikaan, something like that. And then the Afrikaners took over as the people that came and saved black people because, oh my gosh, so uncivilized. And then they also put their structures in place. And the way that they put their structures in place is that they made sure that Black people always stayed at the bottom of the food chain and made sure that they lifted their people up. And you know what the sad thing is? They were doing it all in the name of Jesus. So it's absolutely absurd. I think that's what makes racism such a crazy demonic thing, because it's like you're coming in the name of Jesus by oppressing people, you know? So they made sure that they brought upon, like in the education system, that the Black people would learn how to sew, how to do like manual labor. I think the men were the ones that were doing the manual labor, and then the women were the ones learning how to sew, how to cook. Meanwhile, on the other side, the white people were being taught how to be scientists, how to be great minds, and, you know, engineers, and all of these more superior professions, right? And I think that's what I remember. Some of it is like, you know, but in essence, that's how we found ourselves here. And then later on, apartheid got introduced as well, where it even got worse. Now it was oppression 99, you know, looking at you like ganjalo. Where now it was a thing of, we will become, like, God has called us as white people to save the world with our race. Like, it's actually like insane. Even saying it out loud sounds crazy, but that's how you see how demonic it is. Racism is demonic. I said that. And like, even in their churches, in their youth, they would teach them about how they are superior, how they are better than Black people. Like, they even shut down missionaries that were helping Black people that were being oppressed, because the missionaries would educate Black people and give them a fair education. But what the apartheid government would do is that they would show them subsidies, and they would like make it hard for missionaries to continue the work that they were doing, that these missionaries had to even shut down. It became hard. And then you see people being forced into classrooms of, like, I don't know, plentiful people. And it's hard to get in, it's hard to learn, or whatever the Bantu education, you know, where they were actually being taught in Afrikaans. I remember your dad would tell us that he's out here learning maths in Afrikaans,
That's crazy,
algebra in Afrikaans, and it's like, nobody speaks this language but you guys, you know, like the people that brought it. So fast forward, I don't know fast forward way, but essentially apartheid just came to solidify what they started with bringing civilization, and then now it became bringing civilization in the name of Jesus as a people that need to save Black people by oppressing them. Yeah, that's how we got here.
Sure.
Also, if you have a better version, but this is the version that I learned in my studies.
That was so, like, I've heard this story quite a few times. The first time, well, not the first time, but the last time I heard it, I left that space feeling empowered as a Black person, because the narrative was being told by a white person, and they were basically giving us like the breakdown of how the colonizer moved to Africa and basically what you're saying. But from his perspective, I don't know why, but like I left the room feeling so proud of Black people and thinking, goodness biscuits, like we are an incredible and quite an impressive race, because what do you mean all of that took place and happened, and you learned the oppressor's language, you got educated based on a system that was not in your favor, and you're still this great at what you're doing. Like, even when I look at the normal Black working person today, or normal Black person, like I'm just like, dog, Like, you overcame the system.
You really did.
Some people didn't, and the
Unfortunately.
system still has them by their washing. But like, bro, black people are so cool.
They really, I think, if anything, apartheid shows us the resilience of black people.
Yeah.
Because even when your dad would share stories about, you know, Soweto uprising and the reality, like
Sorry.
him being present in all of that.
Also, typical example of how impressive, or my perspective of that is, you take your father, for example, who was taught maths and all these big subjects
Science and
in Afrikaans, and you look at him now being
Yeah.
a professor at one of the country's biggest institutions.
Witwatersrand.
Like, that's fire, dog.
Yeah.
When you think about it. But the way you told the story now, I don't know, maybe it's the way I am today, but it broke my heart for the black child and the black person. Like,
Yeah.
that's so sore to listen to.
Yeah. It's like, even like just studying it, it was very saddening because it's like, here you are as a child and this is your reality. Like, you're not allowed to learn certain things. You are always told that you are less than, and that's all you'll ever be. Like, you are not allowed to reach for the stars. You will not touch them. You can't even touch the ceiling, basically. And like, that's your everyday. And it's like, you know, like how some of the Israelites didn't see the promised land. Like, that's literally the story for our people, where some of them, that's all they knew. They didn't get to see the other side of it, where we can now live in the neighborhoods that were you know, for white people, where now we can go and we don't need to sit at the back of the bus, you know. And it's like, like that's a child's reality. Like Hector Peterson,
He was a child.
he was a child who lost his life because of all of this, because of bringing Jesus to the black people, all in the name of that.
And you know, like days like June 16, I try my best to reflect and remember, like, lives were lost on this day
Yeah.
for the freedoms that I get to live in.
Yeah.
Like, I get to work in affluent spaces. I've been educated in a certain way. Like, I've been granted the opportunity to actually, like, be in spaces that they used to dream of.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like a burden to make sure that you live a life that reflects a gratitude and reflects Uguti. It was not in vain what you did back then.
Yeah. The bleeding and the hardships that were endured, you know, they were like, and the crazy thing is that it's not people from the 1600 and like, it's literally our parents. That's how soon.
That's how now it happened.
That's how yesterday it was, bro. You know? And I think when we look at our parents, it's honestly such an inspiration to see that they're both working in a space where it was only for white people. You know? Unfortunately, not all parents got to overcome, you know, the really terrible education system that was given to black people. But even the moms that were domestic workers fighting for their children to get a better education. Like, if your mom is a domestic worker, like, it's that thing you go to, hey, your mother fought for you.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes it's the mom is a domestic worker and the son is this top engineer. And it's like, oh my gosh, the fights that your mother had to endure,
Bro.
especially being a single mom in those times, the most awful thing, because as a woman, all you were taught to do was to cook. And then what? So what? You know? I must go clean for someone and then they pay me what?
Bro, and the sad reality is that system is still so evident today. Like,
Yeah.
you drive through not even a kasi, like a town, what is it? Like where you see shacks, and I forget the correct term for it, but like you see people living at a lower standard of living, and we've somewhat become numb to it, and it's just normalized. Like, you see people living in the street, and it's because of the system that was put in place to oppress the Black person, and we are still living it today, but we are now numb to it. Like, we just drive because we can. We just, we just pass that, and we don't take into consideration, we could see this thing that was once our past, it's actually still prevalent even today.
It's very, it was and it still is very damaging.
Yeah.
Like, that's how thought through this system was.
Yeah.
That it's now going to take us years to try and recover, because there are still schools that have plenty of kids in one classroom.
Yeah.
Where they are struggling to get an education. Because imagine learning and someone is pressing on you, bruh. Imagine learning and you can't even go to the bathroom because it don't work.
You don't have textbooks. You don't have means to write.
Yeah, like that's still a reality in South Africa, and
it's a humbling experience as well.
It is
like a humbling thought, because like, had your dad not broken out of that system, had he not had a mindset, and had he not
a strong one
been given the exposure that he was given, we would definitely not be living the life that we live today.